Let's step into the time machine. We'll look back on classic muscle cars, nostalgic TV commercials, TV dinners, Western TV shows, drive-in theaters, Tupperware parties, retro toys, vintage sport heroes, and family road trips. Let's kick off. Classic muscle cars. Rev your engines and let's take a ride down memory lane to the era of raw power and unbridled speed. In the 1950s and 60s, classic muscle cars roared to life and ignited a passion that still burns today. These iconic machines, like the Chevrolet Camaro and Ford Mustang, weren't just cars. They were embodiments of freedom, adventure, and rebellion. The smell of gasoline and the thunderous purr of a V8 engine brought a rush of excitement and the promise of adventure. Rolling down the windows and feeling the wind in your hair as you sped down the open road, it was a feeling like no other. Classic muscle cars weren't just vehicles, they were dreams on four wheels. Nostalgic TV commercials. Transport yourself to a time when TV commercials weren't just ads. They were mini moments of entertainment. In the 1950s and 60s, these glimpses into everyday life were a window to our collective memory. From catchy jingles that we still hum today,
"Oh, I'd love to be an Oscar Mayer wiener,"
to iconic slogans etched in our minds, these commercials weren't just pitches, they were cultural touchstones. Remember the charm of the "I'd like to buy the world a Coke," or the antics of the Jolly Green Giant. It wasn't just advertising, it was a connection to our shared experiences. Vintage TV commercials weren't just marketing, they were snippets of a world filled with simpler joys, unbridled enthusiasm, and timeless messages. Before we continue, it would be really nice of you to subscribe to the Vintage Treasure channel. Then, head into the comments and let us know what other old treasures you would like to hear about. All right, let's continue the time travel journey. TV dinners. Before the age of smartphones and streaming services, dinner time was a different affair. In the 1950s and 60s, TV dinners became a revolutionary concept. These pre-packaged meals offered convenience and a front row seat to television's golden age. As families gathered around their black and white screens, they enjoyed classic shows while savoring compartmentalized delights. Salisbury steak, mashed potatoes, and green peas, all neatly arranged on a single tray. Swanson, with its iconic packaging, changed the way we dined and experienced entertainment. The ding of the oven timer signaled not only a hot meal, but quality family time. These TV dinners weren't just about food, they were about togetherness. Western TV shows, saddle up and ride into the days when the Wild West unfolded on our television screens. In the 1950s and 60s, Western TV shows like Gunsmoke, Bonanza, and The Lone Ranger weren't just programs, they were gateways to a frontier of adventure. The jingle of spurs, the dust of prairies, and the echo of six-shooters transported us to a world where justice was swift and heroes wore cowboy hats. These shows weren't just entertainment, they were a ride into the sunset where good always triumphed. Remember the thrill of watching Marshal Matt Dillon or the Masked Man, the Lone Ranger. It was more than just a show, it was a journey to an era where honor and courage ruled the land. Vintage Western TV shows weren't just stories, they were tales of heroes and the undying spirit of the American West. Drive-in theaters. Imagine a time when movie night meant piling into the car, heading to the drive-in theater, and relishing cinematic magic under the starry night sky. In the 1950s and 60s, drive-in theaters were more than just venues. They were cultural phenomena. Families, friends, and loved ones gathered, popcorn in hand, to enjoy the latest Hollywood blockbusters. Car speakers crackled to life as the screen came to life with tales of adventure and romance. Drive-ins weren't just places to watch movies. They were places to create cherished memories. The aroma of fresh popcorn and the camaraderie of shared laughter, all against the backdrop of a starlit canvas, made drive-in theaters a unique experience. Tupperware parties. Step into the past and recall a time when kitchens weren't just places for cooking. They were the heart of social gatherings. In the 1950s and 60s, Tupperware parties brought friends and neighbors together to discover the magic of plastic containers that kept food fresh. These gatherings weren't just about storage solutions. They were about connection and community. The clinking of cups, the laughter of friends, and the joy of discovering new kitchen gadgets filled the air. Remember the excitement of burping a Tupperware container to seal in freshness? It was a moment of accomplishment. Tupperware parties weren't just about convenience. They were about creating bonds that stood the test of time. Retro toys. In the 1950s and 60s, the world of play was a different place. It was a time when imagination soared, fueled by timeless retro toys. From the joy of building with classic Lego sets to the excitement of operating a remote control car, these toys held a special place in our hearts. Who can forget the iconic Easy Bake Oven, where you could whip up tiny delectable treats, or the thrill of a Slinky as it magically descended the stairs? And who could resist the charm of the Etch-a-Sketch, where artistic masterpieces emerged with the turn of a knob? These retro toys weren't just playthings. They were gateways to enchanting adventures and boundless creativity. Vintage sports heroes. Close your eyes and let's step back into the golden era of sports. In the 1950s and 60s, these weren't just athletes, they were heroes. Vintage sports legends like Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, and Muhammad Ali weren't just players, they were inspirations. Their achievements transcended the field, bringing entire communities together. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the thrilling victories painted unforgettable memories. Remember the excitement of listening to the radio as your favorite team won it all? It was more than just a game. It was a connection to an era filled with grit, determination, and unyielding sportsmanship. Vintage sports heroes weren't just champions. They were icons who etched their names in our hearts. Family road trips. Close your eyes and journey back to a simpler time. A time when family meant packing up the car, hitting the open road, and creating lasting memories on family road trips. In the 1950s and 60s, these adventures were filled with anticipation, as kids eagerly buckled up and parents navigated the winding highways. The crackle of the AM radio and the scent of a homemade sandwich became the soundtrack and taste of those memorable journeys. Whether it was the iconic Route 66 or the scenic vistas of the national parks, the road was a canvas for bonding, exploration, and adventure. Remember the thrill of spotting a "See the USA" in your Chevrolet's billboard. Those were the days when the journey was just as important as the destination. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video.